washed today, so they do run when it's not washed today. I have been probably a full hour, maybe an hour and a half, fitting this rod to the crankshaft, and it's better to fit this rod to this crankshaft while you've got it out of the engine, and you want it to where that it's free with no binding, but you also want it where it's no side play. If you go backwards and forwards, and I will have to say this is probably one of the better ones that I have done. You will look up occasionally, and I'm going to take this piston off and show you. The whole time I've been working on this for about an hour, and I played with it here on the workbench all week long. There's a dirt dauber that was in the head of this piston here. Probably the mixer was removed from the engine, and I'm going to take this off and show it to you. And this is one of the reasons not to start these engines up until you have opened them up and see what's in there. Had this engine been running and that dirt dauber nest disintegrated, it would have completely destroyed the cylinder, the rings, the piston. The dirt mixed with the oil becomes a little like emery paste. It's a bad thing, but I'm going to take this out and show it to you. What I used is emery cloth on the throw on the crank, and then I put a small brake cylinder hone in a hand drill with a sandpaper. Grit is it's about well, it's 320. And I just wrapped it around there, put some oil on it, and the inside of the rod, I worked that with this cylinder hone, and it come out quite nice. I'm really proud of this one. This is the piston. I extracted the pin out of the piston, and these right here, if you look down in that hole there, which would be in the side of the piston, when you put this back together, you put this cotter key right here. That's in there, and the way you put that back together, when you put it down in there, then you take a punch, stick it down in the end of your wrist pin, and spread that out. Well, if it's been spreaded out too much by somebody else, what you have to do is to stick a punch down in there and cut it off, drive it through, and then you can pull this out with a pair of pliers. But what I was going to show you is the dirt dauber nest that was in there, and there it is. It was in the head of that. It was up yonder, stuck in the head of that piston, and it sure enough is a dirt dauber nest. And if that thing, when you're running your engine, and that thing disintegrates little by little by little, it will wear your piston completely out. I'm telling you, you need to open these engines up, especially ones you buy at an auction sale or out yonder has been sitting in the barn for years. Open them up and make sure there ain't nothing in there, even to the point of taking the head off of them. It sounds like I'm harping on this, and I really am. It will save your engines for the future.